Every drink with perfect ice has a hidden supply chain behind it. Not just a freezer in the back room, not just someone filling plastic trays overnight. Behind the ice in restaurants, hotels, hospitals, gas stations, grocery stores, stadiums, fishing boats, and food trucks is an industry most people never think about. A cold, fast, surprisingly complicated network of water treatment systems, freezing machines, packaging lines, refrigerated warehouses, and delivery trucks. And the weird part is this. Ice looks like one of the simplest products on Earth. It is just frozen water. But at commercial scale, making clean, clear, reliable ice becomes a full industrial operation because when a hospital needs ice, it cannot run out. When a seafood distributor needs ice, it cannot melt too soon. When a hotel fills hundreds of guest buckets a night, the ice has to be there before anyone asks for it. Today, we are going inside the hidden industry behind ice cubes. How they are made, why commercial ice is different from freezer ice, how it moves through cities without disappearing into water, and why this quiet business keeps thousands of other businesses running. The story begins with something ordinary. Water. But not just any water. At an ice factory, water is treated like an ingredient in food production. It may pass through filters, softeners, carbon systems, or reverse osmosis units depending on the plant and the quality standards required. The goal is simple, but strict. Remove particles, reduce off flavors, control minerals, and create ice that is clean, consistent, and safe. Most people never think about this part. If ice goes into a drink, it is food. It touches beverages, seafood, medicine coolers, and sometimes even packaged meals. That means commercial ice plants have to think about sanitation, storage, handling, and packaging in a way that looks much closer to a food factory than a freezer aisle. The water moves through stainless steel pipes into large ice-making machines, and this is where the process splits into different kinds of ice. There is cubed ice for drinks, tube ice for bags and dispensers, flake ice for seafood and produce, nugget ice for soft drinks and healthcare settings, block ice for fishing, cooling, and specialty uses. Each type exists because melting is not just melting. Shape of ice changes how fast it cools, how long it lasts, how easy it is to scoop, and how much surface area touches the product around it. A large cube melts slower in a drink. Flake ice hugs fish more tightly. Nugget ice is softer and easier to chew. Block ice lasts longer when refrigeration is limited. That sounds simple, until you see what happens next. Commercial ice machines do not freeze water like your home freezer. In many systems, water is continuously circulated over very cold surfaces. Layer by layer, ice forms in a controlled way. Then the machine warms slightly, or triggers a release cycle, and the finished ice breaks free. In cube machines, sheets of ice may form on evaporator plates before being harvested and broken into uniform pieces. In tube ice machines, water freezes around cold vertical tubes, forming hollow cylinders that are sliced to size. In flake ice machines, a thin layer freezes on a cold drum or cylinder, then a blade scrapes it off. The goal is not just to freeze water. The goal is to freeze it quickly, cleanly, and repeatedly, thousands or millions of times a day. And this is where the whole system changes. Once the ice is made, the factory has to move it before it becomes its own worst enemy. Freshly made ice can clump, it can crack, it can melt at the edges and refreeze into a block. It can pick up contamination if handled poorly. So the factory has to control temperature, humidity, airflow, sanitation, and speed. The ice may drop into insulated bins or conveyors. From there, it can move to automated bagging machines that weigh exact amounts, fill bags, seal them, and send them down a line. A bag of ice at a gas station may look boring, but it has passed through a surprisingly disciplined system. The machine has to measure the ice, keep the bag open, seal it without melting the product, label it, and move it into cold storage. Workers or robots stack bags onto pallets. Pallets go into freezer rooms where temperatures stay well below freezing. Now the product is ready. But the hardest part has not even started, because ice is one of the few products that begins destroying itself the moment it leaves the factory. A box of cereal can sit on a truck, a chair can wait in a warehouse, a bag of ice is always racing the clock. Every door that opens costs money, every delay creates melt, every bad route turns product into loss. This next step is where things get interesting. Commercial ice distribution is built around cold chain logistics. Trucks are insulated or refrigerated, drivers load early. Routes are planned around demand, weather, traffic, and customer schedules. A convenience store may need bagged ice before the afternoon rush. A hotel may need bulk delivery before events. A restaurant may need emergency ice if its machine breaks. A hospital may need reliable supply without interruption. In summer, demand can spike dramatically. One heat wave can send ice factories into full production, with machines running around the clock and trucks moving nonstop. And the customers are not all the same. Restaurants often make some ice on-site, but still rely on suppliers when demand surges or equipment fails. Hotels may use large internal machines but need backup. Gas stations sell bagged ice as a high-volume convenience product. Grocery stores stock ice near the front because customers often buy it at the last second. Then there are industries where ice is not optional. Seafood processors use it to protect freshness. Produce distributors use it to manage temperature. Construction crews use it for drinking water and cooling. Event venues need it for thousands of drinks in a few hours. Medical facilities may use ice for patient care, lab transport, or temperature-sensitive materials. That would already be complicated enough, but it gets worse. Ice demand is unpredictable. A sunny weekend can empty freezers across a city. A storm can make people buy ice for coolers. A power outage can turn ice into an emergency item. A major festival can consume truckloads in a single day. So ice companies do not just make ice. They forecast human behavior. They watch the weather. They track holidays. They know which stores sell more ice near lakes, beaches, sports fields, campgrounds, and highway exits. They know that a warm Friday can matter more than a cold Monday. At scale, ice becomes a data problem. Make too little, and customers run out. Make too much, and storage fills up with a product that costs money to keep frozen. Deliver too early, and the retailer may not have freezer space. Deliver too late, and the customer loses sales. Most people only see the freezer outside a store. But behind that freezer is a chain of decisions. How many bags should be dropped off? How often should the case be restocked? Is the freezer working properly? Did the last delivery melt and refreeze? Are customers buying 7-pound bags, 10-pound bags, or 20-pound bags? Even the freezer itself is part of the business. Many ice companies provide or manage outdoor ice merchandisers for stores. These big white freezers sit outside gas stations and supermarkets, quietly acting as the final warehouse in the chain. They have to survive weather, constant opening, careless loading, and heavy customer traffic. If the freezer fails, the product vanishes into puddles. And because ice is heavy, logistics matter even more. Water weighs a lot. Frozen water still weighs a lot. A truckload of ice is not just cold, it is heavy cargo. That affects fuel use, route planning, labor, loading equipment, and delivery timing. A driver may handle hundreds of bags in a shift. Every stop means opening the truck, moving fast, checking the customer's freezer, rotating stock, and keeping the cold air from escaping. This is why commercial ice is not as cheap to supply as it looks. You are not only paying for frozen water, you are paying for purified water, industrial refrigeration, sanitation, packaging, freezer storage, cold trucks, drivers, route planning, maintenance, electricity, and the constant battle against heat. And electricity is one of the biggest hidden forces in the industry. Freezing water takes energy. Keeping warehouses frozen takes energy. Running compressors, pumps, conveyors, packaging machines, and refrigerated trucks takes energy. In hot months, the same weather that increases demand also makes production and delivery harder. That creates a strange pressure. The hotter it gets, the more people need ice, and the harder it becomes to keep ice frozen. So factories invest in efficient compressors, insulation, automated systems, and maintenance. A small improvement in freezing efficiency can matter when machines run all day. A bad door seal in a freezer room can waste serious money over time. But here's the weird part. The ice itself also has quality grades in the eyes of customers. Clear ice is often preferred for drinks because it looks clean and melts in a predictable way. Cloudy ice can form when air bubbles or minerals are trapped during freezing. That does not always mean it is unsafe, but appearance matters. In restaurants and hotels, ice is part of the customer experience. Bad-tasting ice can ruin a drink. Clumped ice slows down service. Wet ice melts faster and waters down beverages. Small details that seem invisible can affect thousands of customers a day. This is why sanitation is such a serious issue. Ice machines can develop buildup if they are not cleaned. Scoops can spread contamination if handled carelessly. Storage bins can become dirty. Bags must be kept sealed. Workers have to follow procedures just like they would around other food products. Because ice has a strange reputation, people think it is automatically clean because it is frozen. Freezing does not magically erase every problem. It slows many things down, but it does not turn dirty handling into clean handling. That is why commercial ice producers focus so heavily on process control, clean water in, clean equipment, clean packaging, clean storage, clean delivery. And then there is the emergency side of the industry. When hurricanes, floods, or power outages hit, ice suddenly becomes critical. People need it for coolers, food storage, medicine, and basic comfort. Demand can surge faster than local plants can respond. In those moments, ice becomes part of disaster logistics. Trucks may move from other regions. Retailers may ration supply. Temporary cooling needs appear everywhere at once. A product that was invisible yesterday becomes one of the first things people search for. And that reveals the bigger truth. Ice is not just a convenience product, it is a temperature tool. It protects food, supports healthcare, powers hospitality, enables outdoor work, keeps drinks cold, helps move seafood and produce, and gives people a temporary way to fight heat when refrigeration is not enough, all from frozen water. But the industry behind it is anything but simple. It is machines that never stop freezing, workers moving through cold rooms, trucks leaving before sunrise, freezers humming outside stores, dispatchers watching weather maps, restaurants calling in panic when their machine breaks, hospitals expecting supply without excuses, customers grabbing a bag on the way to a party without thinking twice. That is the hidden genius of ice. The product disappears as it works. It melts into the drink. It cools the fish. It saves the food in the cooler. It keeps the event running. Then it is gone, leaving almost no trace of the factory, the truck, the power, the water treatment, and the cold chain that brought it there. So the next time you scoop ice into a glass, or pull a bag from a freezer outside a gas station, remember this. You are looking at one of the simplest products in the world, made by one of the most quietly demanding supply chains around. Because at small scale, ice is just frozen water. But at massive scale, ice is engineering, timing, sanitation, logistics, and energy, all working together before the first cube ever hits your drink. And that is the hidden industry behind ice cubes. If you enjoyed this look inside the systems that quietly keep modern life running, subscribe for more from Curious Eagle.